A storm of arrogance swept into my cabin that night, threatening to tear away everything I'd fought for. One woman, armed with fake authority and flanked by imposters, thought she could bully me off my own land. But she didn't know the strength of the ground I stood on, or the ally waiting in the shadows. What unfolded wasn't just a confrontation. It was a reckoning, a fight for the very principles that define a free life. She stormed into the cabin like a hurricane, slamming the door with such force the walls trembled. Her finger jabbed the air, accusing me of trespassing on my own land. 2 men in fake uniforms trailed her, their badges dull and unconvincing. I sat calmly, letting her words bounce off the wooden walls. Her stack of papers, supposedly official, looked as flimsy as her authority. The woman, Karen, claimed the cabin fell under HOA control, her voice sharp with entitlement. The fake officers shifted uneasily, waiting for me to falter. But I held my ground, my chair creaking softly under me. Then a quiet voice cut through her tirade from the corner, freezing her in place. An older man by the window leaned forward, his suit carrying an air of undeniable authority. His badge gleamed with real weight, unlike the imposters. The state attorney general's gaze was sharp, slicing through Karen's bravado. "I'd like to hear more about these HOA rules," he said, his tone calm but heavy with implication. Karen's voice cracked, her confidence crumbling as she stammered about procedures. The fake officers stiffened, sensing the shift. Karen's accusations grew desperate, claiming I was lying, even questioning the attorney general's identity. He placed his credentials on the table, the gold seal glinting. The room grew thick with tension as one fake officer whispered, "We're screwed." Karen's bravado shattered like glass under the weight of her miscalculation. Karen's fury flared as she accused the attorney general of being a fraud, her words a reckless gamble. His slow, dangerous smile silenced her. "Feel free to read every line," he said, gesturing to his credentials. I finally spoke, my voice steady. "You stormed into my cabin, tried to evict me, and brought criminals posing as cops." The attorney general's eyes never left her. "Impersonating law enforcement is a felony. Forcing entry is a felony." Karen's desperation peaked as she turned to her fake officers, demanding support. One broke, confessing she'd paid them to play cop. The betrayal hit her like a slap, her jaw dropping. The cabin's silence was deafening, her clipboard clutched like a lifeline as her empire began to collapse. The attorney general stepped closer, his voice cutting through her defiance. "You're not in charge here. You're in serious trouble." Karen's mask slipped, her arrogance replaced by panic. She tried one last defense, insisting she ran the neighborhood. But he revealed the truth. I wasn't just a homeowner. I was his lead investigator, building a case against her HOA's illegal schemes for months. Her face paled as the reality sank in. Every fake fine, every forced eviction, every illegal lockout was documented. The fake officers shuffled nervously, realizing they'd walked into a trap. Karen's illusion of control was unraveling, and for the first time she took a step back, cornered by her own actions. Karen's eyes darted to the door, her breathing ragged as she clutched her clipboard. "You have no proof!" she shouted, but her voice lacked conviction. The attorney general waved, and the door swung open to reveal real deputies, their badges gleaming under the porch light. "Ma'am, step away from the exit," one ordered. Karen froze, panic etching her features as the deputies entered. A deputy produced a folder listing complaints of fraud, extortion, and harassment. "You've been at this a long time," the attorney general said coldly. Karen made a desperate lunge for the door, but the deputies were faster. Handcuffs clicked, and her clipboard hit the floor. The fake officers surrendered, one pleading to testify against her. Outside, neighbors gathered, drawn by flashing lights. Porch lamps flicked on, illuminating faces worn by years of Karen's tyranny. Whispers spread. They finally got her. A man spoke up, voice trembling, about how she'd locked him out of his home. The attorney general promised restitution for every illegal act. The crowd's relief was palpable, their fear lifting. Karen thrashed in the deputy's grip, screaming about her necessity to the neighborhood. But no one listened. Her threats dissolved into the night air, met by silence heavier than any rebuke. The residents, once her victims, stood united, watching her power crumble before their eyes. Headlights cut through the darkness as a truck rolled up. My wife stepped out, her presence steady and commanding. Karen spat venom, calling her a squatter, but my wife ignored her, asking me calmly, "Everything good here?" A deputy spoke reverently. "Ma'am, you trained my unit at Fort Bragg." The crowd turned, respect replacing their fear. Karen's disbelief twisted her face as my wife faced her. "I commanded teams that never lost a mission. You bullied a neighborhood." The crowd's quiet applause drowned out Karen's fading protests. Her threats were powerless against the truth standing before her, a truth forged in discipline and honor. The deputies loaded Karen into the cruiser, her shouts fading down the gravel road. Neighbors lingered, some shaking my hand, others nodding with gratitude. For the first time, they looked free. Inside the cabin, the fire burned low, casting a warm glow. My wife sat beside me, her grip grounding me, as always. The Attorney General spoke softly. "You stood your ground, and a community found its voice." The silence was peaceful now, the weight of the fight lifting. I looked at the lake, calm under the moon, and realized I hadn't just defended my land. I'd upheld a principle. No one could take my freedom. This cabin, once a refuge, became a beacon of defiance against false authority. The creators exposed a system built on fear, restoring a community's voice. This fight was not just for my land, but for the enduring truth that freedom cannot be stolen. As the fire glowed and the night settled, I understood why I'd held on. Land, family, freedom. These are the pillars of a life worth defending. Karen's fall proved no one can strip away what's rightfully yours. The neighborhood stood taller, ready to rebuild together. In that quiet cabin, I found not just victory, but a purpose that will echo for years to come.